I pulled into driveway at 2:47 p.m. on a Thursday afternoon. I wasn't supposed to be home. My business trip to Denver had been cut short when the client meeting got canceled at the last minute. Instead of staying at the hotel another night, I caught an early flight home. My son Caleb was 8 years old, third grade, smart kid, quiet, a bit shy but kind-hearted. I'd been gone for 3 days, and I'd missed him terribly. I couldn't wait to surprise him when he got home from school. My wife Bethany's car was in the garage. That surprised me. She worked from home as a graphic designer, but usually had client calls on Thursday afternoons. Maybe her schedule had changed. I grabbed my suitcase in the trunk and headed inside through the garage entrance. The house was quiet. Too quiet. No music playing. No sound of Bethany on a call. Just silence. Then I heard it. A voice from upstairs. Bethany's voice. But the tone was wrong. Sharp. Cool. Angry in a way I'd never heard before. You're pathetic. You know that? Absolutely pathetic. I froze at the bottom of the stairs. My heart started pounding. Who was she talking to? Your father would be so disappointed if he knew how weak you are. How useless. My blood ran cold. She was talking to Caleb. I dropped my suitcase quietly and moved toward the stairs. My hands were shaking. Bethany never spoke to Caleb like that. Never. She was loving, patient, or at least that's what I'd always believed. Please, Mom, I'm trying. I just don't understand the math. Because you're stupid. How many times do I have to explain this? Even a 5-year-old could figure this out. I heard something hit a wall. Hard. Then Caleb crying. Not loud crying. Quiet, defeated sobbing. The kind that comes from someone who's cried so much they barely have tears left. I took the stairs 2 at a time. Caleb's bedroom door was half open. I pushed it wider and saw a scene that would be burned into my memory forever. Caleb sat at his desk. Homework spread in front of him. His face was red and wet with tears. Bethany stood over him, her hand raised like she'd just hit him. A math textbook lay on the floor where she'd thrown it against the wall. But it wasn't just Bethany. Her sister Natasha was there too, sitting on Caleb's bed, smirking, like this was entertainment. Maybe if you weren't so lazy, you'd actually learn something, Natasha said casually. Your mom works so hard and you just disappoint her constantly. Caleb saw me first. His eyes went wide. Dad! Bethany spun around. Her face went from anger to shock to something that looked almost like fear. Ryan, you're home early. I couldn't speak. Couldn't move. Couldn't process what I'd just witnessed. I can explain, Bethany said quickly, her voice shifting to the sweet tone she usually used with me. Caleb's been struggling with his homework. I was just trying to help him, and I got frustrated. I heard you, I said quietly. My voice didn't sound like mine. It sounded dangerous. Cold. I heard exactly what you said to him. Natasha stood up from the bed. Ryan, don't overreact. Kids need discipline. Bethany's just being a good parent. Get out, I said, looking directly at her. Excuse me. Get out of my house. Now. Natasha looked at Bethany for support. Bethany opened her mouth, then closed it. She knew I'd heard everything. There was no explaining this away. You're being ridiculous, Natasha said, grabbing her purse. I was just visiting my sister and watching her abuse my son. Get out. She left, muttering under her breath. I heard the front door slam a minute later. Then it was just me, Bethany, and Caleb. Caleb was still crying silently at his desk. I walked over and knelt beside him. Hey, buddy, are you okay? He nodded but wouldn't look at me. His hands were shaking. Can you tell me what happened? Nothing, he whispered. I was just having trouble with my homework. Caleb, I heard your mother. I heard what she said to you. I need you to be honest with me. Has this happened before? He didn't answer, but the answer was in his silence, in the way he tensed up, in the way he glanced at Bethany with fear in his eyes. Caleb, go to the living room, I said gently. Turn on the TV. I need to talk to your mom alone. He practically ran out of the room. I stood up slowly and looked at Bethany. Really looked at her, like I was seeing her for the first time. How long? I asked. Ryan, I love Caleb. You know that. How long have you been treating him like this? She looked away. I don't treat him badly. He's just difficult sometimes. You don't see it because you're always at work. But I'm here with him every day, dealing with his problems, his slowness, his what? His being 8 years old? His struggling with math like most third graders do. He's behind. His teacher said so. Other kids his age are doing multiplication, and he can barely add double digits. So you call him stupid? Pathetic? Useless? I didn't mean it like that. I was frustrated. And throwing books at walls? Is that how you handle frustration? She didn't answer. I could see her mind working, trying to figure out how to manipulate the situation, how to make me believe this was a one-time thing, a mistake. But I knew it wasn't. Caleb's reaction had told me everything. The fear in his eyes when he looked at her, the way he'd run from the room without hesitation, the defeated way he'd cried. This had been going on for a while, and I'd been too blind, too trusting, too absent to see it. I want you to pack a bag, I said calmly. You're leaving tonight. Bethany's eyes widened. What? Ryan, no. We need to talk about this. Work through it. You can't just kick me out. I'm not kicking you out. I'm protecting my son. There's a difference. He's my son, too. Then why have you been abusing him? The word hung in the air between us. Abuse. She flinched like I'd hit her. I haven't been abusing him. Don't use that word. I've been disciplining him. Discipline does include calling a child stupid. Discipline does include making them cry until they can barely breathe. Discipline does include psychological torture. You're exaggerating. You walked in on one bad moment, and you're blowing it out of proportion. I pulled out my phone. If it's just one bad moment, then you won't mind if I call Caleb up here and ask him, on camera, how often this happens. Her face went pale. Don't do that to him. Don't put him in the middle of this. He's already in the middle of this. You put him there. We stood in silence. I could hear the TV downstairs. Some cartoon. Normal sounds. While everything in our family was falling apart. I'll stay at my sister's, Bethany finally said. But Ryan, please, don't make any decisions right now. You're angry, upset. Give it a few days and we can talk rationally. Pack your bag. I want you gone in 30 minutes. Bethany packed quickly. She kept trying to talk to me, to explain, to negotiate. I didn't engage. I just watched her pack and waited for her to leave. Before she went downstairs, she stopped at the doorway. Can I say goodbye to Caleb? No. Ryan, please. He's my son. You forfeited that right when you spent months emotionally destroying him. You don't get to say goodbye. You don't get to manipulate him one more time. She left without another word. I heard her car pull out of the driveway 20 minutes later. Only then did I go downstairs to check on Caleb. He was sitting on the couch, not watching the TV, just staring at it. His face was blank, emotionless, like he'd shut down completely. I sat next to him. Mom had to go stay with Aunt Natasha for a while. He nodded, didn't ask why, didn't seem surprised. Caleb, I need you to tell me the truth. How long has Mom been treating you badly? He picked at a thread on the couch cushion. I don't know. Days? Weeks? Months? Since school started? Maybe before. 6 months. She'd been doing this for at least 6 months. Why didn't you tell me? She said you'd be disappointed in me if you knew how stupid I was. She said it was our secret, that if I told you, you'd be mad at both of us. My heart broke. This was classic abuse. Isolation. Making the victim believe they deserved it. Making them too afraid to ask for help. Caleb, look at me. He turned slowly. You're not stupid. Not even a little bit. You're 8 years old, and learning is hard sometimes. That's normal. Mom was wrong to say those things to you. Very wrong. Is she coming back? Caleb asked quietly. I don't know. Maybe not for a while. Is that okay? He nodded. Relief flooded his face. Actual relief that his mother was gone. That told me everything about how bad things had really been. Are you hungry? Want me to make dinner? I'm not really hungry. When's the last time you ate? He thought about it. Breakfast, I think. Mom said I couldn't have lunch because I didn't finish my chores fast enough. Rage flooded through me again. She'd been withholding food. Okay, well, you're eating now. What do you want? Can we have pizza? Absolutely. Any kind you want. I ordered pizza, and we ate together in silence. Caleb was exhausted, emotionally drained. I could see in the way he moved, like every action required enormous effort. After dinner, I helped him get ready for bed. He usually insisted on doing everything himself. He was fiercely independent. But tonight, he let me help without protest. As I tucked him in, he grabbed my hand. Dad, are you mad at me? What? No, of course not. Why would I be mad at you? Because of what Mom said, about me being stupid and disappointing you. Caleb, listen to me very carefully. I am not disappointed in you. I have never been disappointed in you. You're an amazing kid. Smart, kind, creative. I'm proud of you every single day. He started crying again. But these tears were different. These were relief tears. Released tears. I held him until he fell asleep. Then I went downstairs and started making calls. First, I called my brother Austin. He was a family lawyer. Good one. If this was going to get legal, I needed someone I could trust. Ryan, what's wrong? You sound terrible. I told him everything. What I'd seen. What I'd heard. What Caleb had told me. He listened without interrupting. Jesus, he said when I finished. I'm so sorry. How's Caleb doing? As well as can be expected. I don't know what the long-term damage is yet. You need to document everything. Write down what you saw today. What Caleb told you. Everything. Date it. Keep copies. Why? Because if Bethany tries to fight for custody, you'll need evidence. Right now, it's your word against hers. She wouldn't fight for custody. She doesn't even want him around. That's obvious. You don't know what she'll do. People get defensive when they're called out for abuse. She might fight just to avoid admitting what she did. Austin was right. I spent the next hour writing everything down. Every detail I could remember. Every word Bethany had said. Every response Caleb had given. Then I did something else. I went through the house looking for anything suspicious. In Bethany's office, I found a journal. I almost didn't open it. It felt like violating her privacy. But Caleb's safety mattered more than her privacy. The journal was full of entries about Caleb. Not loving mother entries. Complaints. Frustrations. Hatred, even. Caleb cried again today because I told him to clean his room. He's so weak. So pathetic. I can't stand it anymore. Why did I have to get stuck with such a useless child? The journal entries went back months. Maybe even a year. Page after page of cruel thoughts about our son. About how disappointing he was. How much she resented him. How much easier her life would be without him. One entry from 3 weeks ago made me feel physically sick. Sometimes I fantasize about just leaving. Walking out and never coming back. Ryan could deal with Caleb. They deserve each other. Both of them are so needy and exhausting. Maybe I'd finally be free. She'd been planning to abandon us. Maybe not seriously. Maybe just fantasizing. But the thoughts were there, written in her own hand. I took photos of every page, sent them to my email, backed them up to cloud storage. Evidence, protection, proof that this wasn't one bad moment or misunderstanding. Around midnight, Bethany called. I almost didn't answer, but I needed to hear what she'd say, what her approach would be. Ryan, please, can we talk? I'm listening. I'm sorry. I know what you saw looked bad, but I love Caleb. I've just been under so much stress. My clients have been demanding. The house is too much. I've been overwhelmed, and I took it out on him. That's not fair. I know that. How long have you been taking it out on him? Silence. What do you mean? How long, Bethany? Months? A year? How long have you been emotionally abusing our son? Don't call it that. Please. It wasn't abuse. I was just Strict. Maybe too strict. But I was trying to help him. Trying to make him tougher. By calling him stupid? By telling him I'd be disappointed in him? By withholding food. I never withheld food. He told me, today, that he didn't get lunch because he didn't finish chores fast enough. Long silence on the other end. Then, Ryan, you're turning this into something it's not. You're making me sound like a monster. I'm not a monster. I'm a mother who made mistakes. Can't we work through this? I found your journal. I heard her sharp intake of breath. You went through my private things? Your private things that documented months of hatred toward our son. Yeah, I did. And I photographed every page. You had no right. I had every right. You've been psychologically torturing an 8-year-old. My 8-year-old. Your journal proves it wasn't just frustration or stress. You genuinely resent him. You've written about wanting to leave. About how much easier your life would be without him. Those were just thoughts. Everyone has negative thoughts sometimes. Not about their children. Not like that. Not consistently for months. She was crying now. What do you want from me? What do you want me to do? I want you to admit what you did. I want you to take responsibility. And I want you to stay away from Caleb until he's ready to see you, if he's ever ready. He's my son. You can't keep him from me. Watch me. If you try to see him before he's ready, I'll file for restraining order. Austin is already preparing the paperwork. You're overreacting. You're being cruel. Keeping a mother from her child. You kept yourself from your child when you decided to abuse him. This is consequence, Bethany, not cruelty. I hung up, blocked her number. Then I sat in the dark living room, trying to figure out how I'd missed this. How I'd been so blind. The next morning, I called Caleb's school. Asked to speak with his teacher, Mrs. Palmer. She was young, enthusiastic, genuinely cared about her students. Mr. Holloway, is everything okay? Caleb seemed a bit distracted yesterday. I need to ask you something. Has Caleb seemed different lately? Withdrawn? Scared? Anything unusual? Long pause. Actually, yes. The last few months, he's been much quieter. He used to participate a lot in class. Now he barely speaks. And he's been having trouble focusing. Has he mentioned anything about home? About his mom? Another pause. Longer this time. Mr. Holloway, I probably shouldn't say this, but there was an incident about a month ago. Caleb came to school with a bruise on his arm. When I asked about it, he said he'd fallen, but the way he said it, I didn't quite believe him. My hands clenched. Did you report it? I documented it. I was planning to if it happened again, but it didn't. Or at least, I didn't see any more bruises. I need to tell you something. I explained what I discovered. What I'd witnessed, what Caleb had told me. Mrs. Palmer listened quietly. I'm so sorry, she said when I finished. I should have pushed harder. I should have reported my suspicions. You documented it. That's helpful now. Can you send me a copy of your notes? Absolutely. And Mr. Holloway? Caleb's a wonderful kid. Smart, creative, kind. Whatever his mother said to him, none of it was true. Thank you. That means a lot. After hanging up, I realized I needed more help. Professional help. Caleb needed therapy. Someone who specialized in childhood trauma. Someone who could help him process what he'd been through. I found a child psychologist named Dr. Helena Ward. She had excellent reviews. Specialized in abuse cases. Could see Caleb within the week. I spent the day working from home. Caleb had school, but I wanted to be there when he got home. I wanted him to know I wasn't leaving, that he was safe now. Around noon, Natasha called. I'd forgotten to block her number. You're making a huge mistake, she said without preamble. Bethany is devastated. She's my sister and she's falling apart. Good. Maybe she'll understand a fraction of what she did to Caleb. She didn't do anything wrong. She was being a parent. You're too soft on that boy. That's his real problem. You watched her abuse him. You participated. You sat there smirking while she called him names and threw things. You're just as guilty as she is. I did no such thing. I was there, Natasha. I saw you. And if you come near Caleb again, I'll file harassment charges. Stay away from my family. I hung up and blocked her too. Then I went through my phone systematically blocking everyone in Bethany's family. Her parents, her other sister, anyone who might try to defend her or pressure me to work things out. When Caleb came home from school, he looked surprised to see me. "You're still here?" "Of course. I told you I would be. Mom always said you were too busy. That work was more important than us." Another lie. Another manipulation. "Caleb, you and I need to have a serious talk. Come sit down." We sat on the couch together. He looked nervous, like he expected to be in trouble. "I'm going to make some changes." I began. "First, I'm cutting back my travel. Way back. No more 3-day trips. If I have to travel, it'll be day trips only." His eyes widened. "Really? Really?" "Second, I found you a therapist. Someone really nice who helps kids who've been through hard things. You're going to start seeing her next week." "Am I crazy?" Caleb asked quietly. "What? No. Therapy isn't for crazy people. It's for people who need help processing difficult experiences, like what Mom did to you." "Oh." "Third, I'm going to make sure you're safe. Always. Nobody's going to hurt you again. Not Mom. Not anyone. I promise." He nodded, then quietly, "Are you and Mom getting divorced?" I'd been expecting this question. "I don't know yet. Probably. Would that upset you?" He thought about it. "Will I have to see her if you get divorced?" "Not if you don't want to. The court might require some visits, but I'll fight to keep those supervised. So she can't be alone with you. I don't want to see her." The way he said it broke my heart. 8 years old, and he'd already been damaged so much by his own mother that he wanted nothing to do with her. "Okay, I'll do everything I can to make that happen." That evening, I started gathering more evidence. I called Bethany's parents, recorded a conversation, legal in our state with one-party consent, and asked them about Caleb. "Bethany says he's a difficult child," her mother said. "Always has been. She's tried so hard, but he just doesn't respond to normal parenting." "What do you mean by difficult?" "Sensitive. Cries easily. Gets overwhelmed. Not tough like boys should be." "Did Bethany ever tell you how she handled his sensitivity?" "She's been firm with him. That's what he needs. Structure. Discipline. You've been too lenient, Ryan." They'd known. Maybe not to full extent, but they'd known Bethany was harsh with Caleb, and they'd supported it, encouraged it, even. I ended the call and saved the recording. More evidence. More proof that this wasn't isolation. This was a family system that enabled abuse. Over the weekend, I took Caleb to the park. We threw a football, got ice cream, did normal father-son things. He laughed. Actually laughed. I realized I hadn't heard him laugh in months. "Dad," he said as we were leaving, "can I ask you something?" "Anything." "Why did Mom hate me?" The question pierced me. "She didn't hate you, Caleb." "Yes, she did. I could tell." She looked at me like I was disgusting, like she wished I wasn't there. I had to be honest. He deserved honesty. "I think Mom has some problems. Problems in her head and heart. That's not your fault. Not at all. You're a great kid. Those problems are hers, not yours." "Will she get better?" "I don't know. Maybe. But that's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to heal. To be a kid. To be happy." He nodded. "I think I'm already a little happier. Without her here." Monday morning, I got a call from Austin. Bethany filed for custody. Full custody. My blood ran cold. "What?" "She's claiming you're alienating Caleb from her. That you manipulated him into being afraid of her. That you're using false abuse allegations to control the situation. That's insane. I have evidence. The journal, Mrs. Palmer's notes, Caleb's testimony. I know, and we'll present all of it. But Ryan, you need to prepare for a fight. She's not going quietly." I hired Austin officially as my lawyer. We prepared for court, gathered every piece of evidence, documented everything. Mrs. Palmer agreed to testify. Dr. Ward agreed to evaluate Caleb and provide expert testimony. Bethany kept calling from different numbers. I didn't answer. She showed up at the house twice. I didn't let her in. She tried to approach Caleb at school. The administration stopped her. She was desperate, and desperate people do dangerous things. 2 weeks before our custody hearing, something happened that changed everything. Natasha posted something on social media, a long rant about me, about how I was a controlling husband who brainwashed my son against his loving mother. The post went viral in our community. People I knew started commenting, taking sides. Some supported me. Many believed Bethany's narrative. I'd been private about everything, trying to protect Caleb's privacy, trying to handle this with dignity. But Bethany and Natasha had gone public, and they were winning the court of public opinion. Austin called me. You need to respond. You can't let their narrative be the only one out there. I don't want to put Caleb through that, making this public. It's already public. They made it public. Now you need to defend yourself and your son. He was right. I sat down and wrote my own post. Detailed. Factual. I included screenshot of the journal entries, with Caleb's name redacted. I included Mrs. Palmer's statement. I included the timeline of events. I didn't embellish, didn't exaggerate. Just facts. Cold, hard facts about what had been done to my son. I posted it and waited. The response was immediate and overwhelming. People were horrified. Bethany's friends started deleting their supportive comments. Natasha's post got reported so many times it was taken down. Comments flooded in from people sharing their own abuse stories, thanking me for speaking up, supporting Caleb, condemning Bethany. Some people still defended her, said I was lying, said the journal was fake, said I was a manipulator. But they were the minority. Bethany called from yet another number. This time I answered. You destroyed me, she said. Her voice was different. Hello. Everyone knows now. Everyone thinks I'm a monster. You destroyed yourself when you abused our son. I'm being fired from my clients' projects. People are canceling contracts. My family won't talk to me. You've ruined my life. You ruined Caleb's childhood. You traumatized an innocent kid. Don't talk to me about ruined lives. I want to see him. I need to explain. No, you don't get to explain. You don't get to manipulate him anymore. The custody hearing is in 2 weeks. If you want to see Caleb, convince a judge. Otherwise, stay away. She hung up. I felt no satisfaction, just exhaustion. This wasn't what I'd wanted. I'd wanted her to be a good mother, to love our son, to be the family we were supposed to be. But that family had never really existed. It had been a lie. And now we had to build something real from the ashes. The custody hearing arrived. Austin had prepared everything meticulously. Evidence organized. Witnesses ready. A clear timeline of abuse and my response. Bethany showed up with her lawyer. She looked terrible, like she hadn't slept in weeks. Part of me felt sorry for her. Part of me felt nothing at all. The judge reviewed the evidence carefully. Read the journal entries. Listen to Mrs. Palmer's testimony. Watch Dr. Ward's recorded session with Caleb, done with his permission and mine. Bethany's lawyer tried to argue that I'd manipulated Caleb, that the journal was taken out of context, that this was a vindictive husband using his son as a weapon. But the evidence was overwhelming, undeniable. The judge's face grew darker as she read through everything. Finally, she spoke. Mrs. Holloway, I've reviewed all the evidence presented. The journal entries alone are deeply concerning. Combined with the teacher's observations, the therapist's assessment, and the child's own statements, there is clear evidence of emotional abuse. Bethany's lawyer started to object. The judge held up her hand. I'm granting Mr. Holloway full custody with supervised visitation from Mrs. Holloway. However, visitation will only occur after Mrs. Holloway completes a court-mandated therapy program and receives clearance from a child psychologist. Bethany burst into tears. You can't do this. He's my son. You should have remembered that before you systematically destroyed his self-esteem and sense of safety. This hearing is adjourned. We left the courthouse. Austin squeezed my shoulder. You did it. Caleb's safe now. But I didn't feel victorious. I felt sad. Sad that it had come to this. Sad that Caleb had suffered. Sad that his mother had chosen cruelty over love. When I got home, Caleb was with my parents. They'd been watching him during the hearing. I picked him up and drove home together. How did it go? He asked nervously. You're staying with me. Full time. Mom can only see you if a professional is there, and only after she gets help. He was quiet for a moment. Then, good. Over the next few months, Caleb started to heal. Therapy helped. Dr. Ward was amazing. She taught him coping strategies, helped him understand that what happened wasn't his fault, that he was worthy of love and respect. He started laughing more, participating in class again, making friends. Being a kid, I cut my work hours permanently, made it home for dinner every night, helped with homework, went to school events, did all the things I should have been doing all along. Bethany completed her court-mandated therapy. 6 months after the hearing, she requested supervised visitation. Caleb didn't want to see her, but his therapist suggested it might be helpful for closure. The first visit lasted 15 minutes. In a therapist's office, with Dr. Ward present, Caleb barely spoke. Bethany cried and apologized. Caleb didn't respond. After that visit, Dr. Ward called me. I don't think continued visits are beneficial right now. Caleb is healing. Seeing her keeps reopening the wound. I'd recommend suspending visits until he's older and can make that choice himself. I filed a motion. The judge agreed. Bethany's visitation was suspended until Caleb turned 13 and could decide for himself. Bethany disappeared from our lives after that. I heard through mutual friends that she'd moved to another state, started over somewhere no one knew her story. I didn't care where she went. As long as she stayed away from Caleb, she could do whatever she wanted. A year after I'd found him maltreating my son, Caleb and I were having dinner. Just normal Tuesday night dinner. He was telling me about a project at school. Something about dinosaurs. His eyes were bright, excited. He looked happy. Really, genuinely happy. Dad, he said between bites of pasta. Yeah, buddy? Thank you. For what? For saving me. For believing me. For making her leave. I had to blink back tears. You don't have to thank me for that. That's what dads do. They protect their kids. Not all dads. Riley's dad doesn't protect him. He doesn't even care. Well, I care. I'll always care. And I'll always protect you. That's my job. He smiled. You're good at your job. That was the moment I knew we'd be okay. Not perfect. Not without scars. But okay. I'd made mistakes. Big ones. I'd been too absent. Too trusting. Too blind to what was happening in my own home. But I'd fixed it when I discovered the truth. I'd acted immediately. Protected my son. Done what needed to be done. Some people asked me why I'd gone public with the story. Why I'd exposed Bethany so completely. Wasn't that cruel? But I didn't see it that way. I saw it as accountability. She'd hurt my son. Systematically. Deliberately. For months. And when confronted, she'd try to lie her way out of it. Tried to manipulate everyone into believing she was a victim. Going public had been about truth. About making sure people knew what really happened. About protecting other children who might cross her path in the future. It wasn't revenge. It was justice. And maybe it was a warning. To any other parent who thinks they can abuse a child behind closed doors without consequence. Someone might be watching. Someone might come home early. Someone might find your journal, or hear your words, or see the fear in your child's eyes. And when they do, there will be consequences. 2 years after everything happened, Caleb was 10 years old and thriving. He'd made the honor roll, joined the soccer team, had a group of close friends, smiled constantly. He rarely mentioned Bethany. She'd become a distant memory. Someone who'd been in his life once but wasn't anymore. Like a bad dream he'd woken up from. I'd started dating someone. Carefully, slowly. A woman named Clarissa who worked at Caleb's school as the art teacher. She was kind, patient, wonderful with kids. Caleb liked her. That was the most important thing. I told her everything about Bethany on our third date. Wanted her to know what we'd been through, what kind of family we were. She listened without judgment, then said, "That must have been terrifying. Finding out someone you trusted was hurting your son, but you handled it exactly right. You protected him. That's what matters. We've been dating for 6 months now. Nothing serious yet, just taking things slow. But it felt healthy, real, based on honesty instead of secrets." One afternoon, Caleb and I were at the park. He was on the swings. I was pushing him. Just a normal Saturday. Normal life. A woman approached us. I didn't recognize her at first. Then I saw her face clearly and my blood ran cold. Bethany. She looked different. Older. Thinner. Her hair was shorter. She wore simple clothes. Nothing like the designer outfits she used to favor. "Ryan," she said quietly, "can we talk?" Caleb had seen her too. He stopped swinging. His whole body tensed. The fear was back in his eyes. That same fear I'd seen 2 years ago. "No," I said firmly. "You're not supposed to be here. This violates the court order." "I know. I'm sorry. I needed to see him, to see how he's doing. You need to leave. Now, or I'm calling the police." Bethany looked at Caleb. "Honey, I'm so sorry. For everything. I was sick. I wasn't myself. I've gotten help. I'm better now. I just want you to know that I love you." Caleb didn't respond. Just stared at her with those wide, frightened eyes. "Caleb doesn't want to talk to you," I said. "He's made that clear. You need to respect that. He's my son. You lost the right to call him that when you abused him. Leave. Now." She looked like she wanted to argue, to plead, to explain. But something in my face must have stopped her. She turned and walked away. I watched until she was out of sight. Then I knelt down next to Caleb. "Are you okay?" He nodded, but he was shaking. "Is she going to come back?" "I don't know, but if she does, we'll handle it. I'll protect you. Always." When we got home, I called Austin, reported the violation. He filed an emergency motion. The judge issued a restraining order. Bethany couldn't come within 500 feet of Caleb or me. A week later, I got a letter from her, forwarded through Austin's office. I almost didn't open it, but curiosity won. The letter was long. Pages of apology, explanation. She'd been diagnosed with postpartum depression that had never been treated. It had morphed into something worse over the years. She'd resented Caleb because she'd lost herself in motherhood, lost her identity, lost her dreams. None of it was an excuse, but it was an explanation. She ended the letter with, "I don't expect forgiveness from you or Caleb. I just want you to know that I'm truly sorry. And I'm genuinely glad he has you. You're the parent I never was. He's lucky." I read the letter twice, then filed it away. Maybe someday Caleb will want to read it, when he was older, when he could process it without pain. Or maybe not. Maybe some chapters need to stay closed. 3 years after I came home early from that business trip, Caleb was 11. We were talking about middle school, about growing up, about hard topics. "Dad, can I ask you something?" "Always." "Do you think Mom ever really loved me?" I'd been dreading this question, but I'd promised always to be honest with him. "I think she loved the idea of you, the fantasy of being a mother. But when reality didn't match the fantasy, she didn't know how to handle it. And instead of dealing with her own issues, she blamed you. So it's like she loved a made-up version of me, but not the real me." Something like that. "But Caleb, that's her problem. Not yours. The real you is amazing. Anyone who can't see that isn't worth your time or emotional energy. Do you think I'll ever want to see her again? Maybe. Maybe not. Both are okay. You get to choose. This is your life. Your healing. Your decision." He nodded. "I don't think I want to see her. Not now. Maybe not ever. Is that wrong?" "Not at all. You're protecting yourself. That's healthy." "Good. Because I like how things are now. Just you and me, and maybe Clarissa sometimes." I smiled. "Yeah, I like how things are too. That evening, Clarissa came over for dinner. She and Caleb had a running joke about terrible puns. They spent 20 minutes trying to outpun each other while I cooked. The house was full of laughter. This was family. This was what it was supposed to be. Safety, joy, love without conditions. Later that week, I got a message from Austin. Bethany's moving permanently. Out of state. Wanted to let you know she won't be a problem anymore. Where is she going? Oregon. Fresh start. New job. New life. She's signing away her parental rights voluntarily. Part of me felt relieved. Part of me felt sad. Sad for the family we could have been. Sad for the mother she never was. Sad for all the damage that could have been avoided if she just asked for help instead of hurting a child. But mostly I felt grateful. Grateful I'd come home early that day. Grateful I'd heard what I heard. Grateful I'd acted immediately. If I'd ignored it. If I believed her excuses. If I thought she's just stressed or he's just being dramatic. If I'd done what so many parents do and minimized it, Caleb would still be suffering. I called my parents that night. Told them about Bethany's decision to sign away rights. How do you feel about it? My mother asked. Relieved. Caleb's safe now. Completely safe. She can't come back. Can't change her mind. Can't hurt him again. You did the right thing, Ryan, from the very beginning. You protected your son when he needed it most. I should have seen it sooner. Should have been home more. Should have. You can't change the past, but you change the future. That's what matters. She was right. I couldn't change what had happened, but I'd stopped it from continuing. I'd broken the cycle. I'd saved my son. For years after that day, Caleb was 12, almost a teenager. He was confident now, happy, well-adjusted. Dr. Ward had signed off on his therapy a year ago. He was healed, as much as anyone can heal from childhood trauma. We were having a father-son day, just the two of us, hiking, talking, being together. Dad, I've been thinking about something. What's that? I want to change my last name to just yours, not Mom's anymore. Is that possible? Yeah, it's possible. Are you sure? I'm sure. She's not part of my life anymore. I don't want to carry her name. We filed the paperwork. 2 months later, Caleb officially had only my last name. He was Caleb James Holloway, not Caleb James Morrison Holloway, just mine. He came home from court with the official documents and smiled. This feels right. Good. You're stuck with me now. No take-backs. I wouldn't want to take backs. That summer, Clarissa and I got engaged. I asked Caleb first. Made sure he was okay with it. He was more than okay. He was excited. She's good for you, Dad. And she's nice to me. That's what matters. The wedding was small. Family and close friends. Caleb was my best man. At 12 years old, he stood next to me and held the rings, smiled through the whole ceremony. In his toast at the reception, he said, "My dad saved my life once. Now he's building a new life, and I'm happy to be part of it." There wasn't a dry eye in the room. 5 years after I came home early from that business trip, Caleb was 13, a teenager, growing up fast. We were talking about high school, about his future, about his dreams. "I think I want to be a therapist," he said, "like Dr. Ward. Help kids who've been through hard stuff. That's a great goal. Because of what happened to me, I understand. I can help other kids understand too. You'll be amazing at it. Thanks, Dad, for everything, for that day, for every day after, for choosing me. I'll always choose you, Caleb. Always." And I meant it. He was my son, my priority, my purpose. What I did when I came home and saw them maltreating my son was simple. I protected him. Immediately, completely, without hesitation. I removed the threat, documented the abuse, fought for custody, went public when necessary, did whatever it took to keep him safe. Some people thought I was too harsh on Bethany, that I should have given her more chances, that families should work through problems privately. But those people didn't see what I saw, didn't hear what I heard, Didn't watch their child flinch at the sound of their own mother's voice. When you see your child being maltreated, you have one job. Stop it. Not explain it away. Not minimize it. Not give the abuser more chances. Just stop it. That's what I did. And I'd do it again. Every time. Without question. Caleb was 15 now. A sophomore in high school. He'd grown tall. Confident. He had friends. Hobbies. Dreams. He was everything a teenager should be. We still had our father-son days. Still talked about everything. Still had a relationship built on trust and honesty. One evening, he showed me something he'd written for English class. An essay titled The Day My Life Changed. It was about that Thursday afternoon. About hearing me come home. About the relief of finally being safe. About everything that came after. He ended with, "My dad did what I see them maltreating my son. What he did was become the father every kid deserves. The father who sees. Who acts. Who protects. No matter what it costs." I hugged him. This young man who'd survived something no child should survive. Who'd healed and grown and thrived despite it all. "I'm proud of you," I told him. "I'm proud of you too, Dad. You saved me. And you taught me what real love looks like. Not the fake kind that hurts. The real kind that protects." That was what it all came down to. Real love protects. Real love acts. Real love chooses a child over comfort, truth over peace, safety over appearance. I came back early from a business trip 5 years ago and saw them maltreating my son. What I did was choose him. Every time. Every day since. Without regret. And I'd keep choosing him. For the rest of my life. That's what fathers do.